Going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Talks. We're up to episode 8. Look at that. We are
Eight.
cranking episodes out for you one a week. So at least we're
Who'd have thunk
consistent.
it?
We're
Yep.
consistent, and that's the main thing. That's what we're bringing you, all your brand new movie news and reviews. But I'm joined by my co-host. Look at that. I'm even getting the thing
Did it.
ready. I couldn't get like my act together in the pre-show, but I got it together once the
You
cameras
did
are
it.
rolling. Hooray.
Hi
Uh,
everyone, it's Lawson here. Woo.
oh yeah, I forgot to let you talk. But anyway,
I just would insert myself. It's
yeah,
fine.
you do anyway. So we got we got
Yes.
a jam-packed episode for you. We are now one episode behind for House of Dragons, but it is all
hmm
good. We are doing House of Dragon episode 7. See how I got to stop myself from saying the plural because
Dragons. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. They should have just called it dragons because there's multiple dragons. But
Because you
whatever.
keep getting it wrong, they should have changed their name. Correct. Yep.
It's a dumb name. You got multiple dragons, so let's call it not a plural. But anyway,
Sure.
we got
Please
Bullet,
continue.
also Bullet Train, and My Best Friend's Exorcism, which is an
hmm
Amazon Prime Videos original. That is a mouthful to say.
Yeah, that's
But
a
anyway,
lot.
let's go into our quick fire movie news. Remember the game, Lawson?
Yep.
What are the
You might
phrases?
give me my three options again because you've changed them multiple times.
All right. So you got to say,
Interested, not interested, and don't
don't
care.
care. Yep. Cool.
Sure.
Cool.
Please.
Cool. The Super Mario Brothers movie has a new
I watched
trailer
the
out.
trailer, dude. I watched the trailer just before I came on. Bowser's scene looks so cool, but
I remember you used to have a YouTube channel called Old Mate Bowser.
yeah, Bowser's my favorite shit ever.
Yeah, right.
Um, I'm interested because I want to see all the Bowser scenes and I want to see how much of a train wreck Chris Pratt is as Mario. So
Uh,
I'm interested. Ironically,
I don't reckon he'll be that bad. Like him as Star Lord, I thought he was incredible, and like him in was
but
a
Star
part.
Lord isn't an Italian plumber.
No, but I feel like that's where that goofy kind of
I know.
style is where they're going. So I think he'll do it right. I'm not sure how they're going to go with the accent, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, this one isn't actually listed, but I did see it today. Scooby-Doo is now getting Velma's own movie, but they are changing all of the characters to be our like really inclusive. So they're changing the original cast to suit the actors that are playing them, which is going to be a little bit
What do you
interesting.
mean? Give me some
So
examples.
so it's kind of getting the Mary Jane Watson kind of treatment in terms of they changed the source material in the new movies. You know, Mary J. Watson was always typecast as the girl next door with red hair
No, but yes.
in Spider
But
Man.
yeah, but
Yeah,
what's your point?
and then they
Continue.
they changed it, and then Mary Jane Watson now has dark hair and not red hair. And they did the same with April O'Neil. But my point is they're changing the characters of Scooby Doo from the source material and putting it
Okay.
to what the voice actors look like.
Okay. Still don't really understand what you mean, but I think they should leave it alone. I'm not interested.
Not even for
Nope.
Scooby Doo. I love
No,
Scooby
just
Doo.
start something new. There's no reason we need to keep readapting and readapting and readapting. I want some new stuff. Don't just leech off of what already exists.
I do like Scooby Doo. We actually saw
Yeah.
Scooby Doo in 4K, so where the seats move in 3D, and it had like air blowing out of the seats and stuff. It was pretty interesting. That was at
In
Movie World.
4D, not 4K.
Nah, 4D. That's what
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
lined up for 25 minutes to get in there. It
Was it
was
worth it? How long did it go for?
like 12 minutes.
So you lined up for twice how long it took to actually do the thing.
Yeah, but like
Nice.
anyway, side news is Movie World are being absolutely smashed in online in terms of the shortest wait for a ride was like 150 minutes.
No.
Yeah, they're getting absolutely hammered in terms of just
So what do? You just dawdle around. Do you have to line up still?
yeah. So getting in, it was fine. Like you get into the park, like no issues, and then all of a sudden it's just like people everywhere. You've got the main strip, which is the main strip's really cool, where they've got all the iconic sort of Warner Brothers scenes and sets, and then every like 15 20 minutes they have rotating characters come out. They have shows and stuff down that hall. So we got
that's what are you there for?
yeah, so we got pictures with Batman and all that, but
Ooh.
all the rides, like there was probably 3 broken ones that they just had out of
Wow.
order, and then everyone else was just mental.
Hacking everything else.
Yeah, so it's not good, Warner Brothers. I mean,
Makes for a shit time.
Yeah, but anyway, back to it as well is
Still related in this Warner Brothers. This is a movie talks podcast. It's related.
That's right. That's right. But Smile, a brand new horror film that is just coming out. What they have done they've hired actors to go to Major League Baseball games in America and situate themselves. You know where they get the cameras, kind of like they zoom in on the audience. Like they've set people.
Like the kiss cams and stuff.
Yeah, so wherever the cameras go, like they've prearranged it, and they're sitting there and they're doing the smile, which is the people that kill other people in the film, and they're just like they're portraying
staring, smiling.
Yeah, the smile, like the Grinch creepy smile, and they just hold it for the entire game and just like walk up and down the aisles. And
is it gonna feel like a Snapchat filter though?
No, it's like it's them. Let's see if I can find it. it's really creepy. Like it doesn't feel like a filter. It's
still part of the publicity, eh?
Yeah, like I found it so fascinating.
Interesting.
Publicity stunt. It's so cool at the baseball game. So it was the Major League Baseball game. Can I?
You're gonna screen share this?
I mean, so all the advance point.
Sorry again to everyone who's not watching YouTube, which is most of our viewers. I just found out. Did it work? Like 2% of our viewers watch on YouTube. So
yeah. So, but anyway, look at the creepy smile. Like they literally just sat there and walked up and down the aisle. Like this guy was freaky. I'm not sure if you can see.
And they just stood there. Okay.
They stood there like the entire game. I found that so fascinating that they were able to
publicity.
Yeah, like
it actually is interesting.
It's very cool. I'll let you answer because it's not. It's your segment.
What am I? I mean, we're watching it.
Are you interested in it though?
Sure. Why not? Interesting publicity.
Yeah.
Hopefully, interesting story.
Anyway, if we're on the topic of horror, I'm throwing an extra one in here. Normally you do 3, but I don't know. We're gonna do 4. Violent Night is a Santa slasher film. So Santa's getting a horror film.
Really?
And also the Grinch is getting a slasher film, same as Winnie the Pooh sort of treatment. You know how?
No.
Yeah, they're going full ham into those.
Yeah, because Winnie the Pooh, that was one thing that happened last year, that the copyright ran out and everyone's like, what's going to happen with it? So there you go. That's one of the first things, is they're making a slasher film out of it.
It actually looks like just
so funny. David Harbour from David Harbour from Stranger Things is Santa Claus.
Yep, he's Hop to the next project. Get it?
He's playing Hop. Is he Hop? Is that the character in Stranger Things?
In Stranger Things, yeah, Hopper. Oh, you haven't seen it, have you?
I've only seen the first 2 seasons.
You should know his name.
Yeah, a long time ago when they first came out, I watched them. It's been like 3 years since then.
Well, yeah. That's him.
Watched a lot of stuff since then.
Yeah. Well, without any further ado, let's get into a Bullet Train. I will read the plot and you introduce all of it because it's fresher for you.
Sure, I can try.
So, 5 assassins aboard a swiftly moving bullet train to find out that their mission has something in common.
Sure. Yep. That's probably like that's a really brief introduction to what this sort of tries to be. So our main sort of character is Brad Pitt. Plays, like, everyone's sort of named after their code name, so he's Ladybug. There's this underlying theme throughout the entire thing of luck and fate. And he's like meant to be unlucky, and Ladybug is an ironic name because they're considered a good luck thing. Anyway,
Are they? Are ladybugs?
yeah,
Are
if a
they?
ladybug lands on you, it's considered good luck. They
Is it
mention that a
really?
few times in the movie as well.
That's been a
No?
while, but
Anyway,
I've never thought of a ladybug going, "Ooh, I'm lucky now."
all right.
Give me
Well,
some,
that's the thing. There
give
you
me,
go. Now you know it.
yeah, give me some. Like four-leaf clover, like that sort of stuff, and
Yeah.
like rabbit's foot,
Hmm.
like they're all meant to be lucky. Not a
Yeah.
ladybug.
A
I've never.
ladybug landing on you is meant to be considered lucky.
Well,
Yep.
I had a
In many
lady.
cultures.
Well, I had a ladybug land on me yesterday. Out
There you
of
go. You're a lucky
yeah,
man.
I am. I am. It's go on.
So yeah. So we've got that character, and that character's sent onto the bullet train in Japan, and the whole story takes place on the bullet train going from Tokyo to Kyoto.
I believe so.
And
I don't know my Japanese like geography, so I
sure,
don't know how far that
yeah,
is.
doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, it's a nearly an all night trip. That it starts. Does it start at night or start sort of at dusk? And the
About
last
dusk,
scene
yeah.
is sunrise. So I think it's over the course of one evening or one night. Anyway, so Brad Pitt's on this. He's been sent there just to go pick up this briefcase. But then obviously a lot of things happen and he can't get off the train. We also followed two brothers. They grew up together, whether it was adoption or family or whatever it was.
Oh, they were a hoot. I
Tangerine
really
and
enjoyed
Lemon,
them.
the best characters.
They
They
were
every
awesome.
scene with just them two, they had such good fun banter back and forth. They felt really connected, like brothers would. I
Yeah.
really like their characters.
Do you reckon they were
Um,
based off of Pulp Fiction in terms of Travolta and
yeah,
Samuel L.
maybe
Jackson?
maybe a
Like
little bit. Like there is a little bit of that
he's even got the same
back and forth.
hair as like Travolta and the mustache. Like it gives me very very similar vibes to
Yeah,
that
and like a
duo.
pretty boy sort of look.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. And almost the invincible black guy, like how Samuel Jackson is, and so is Lemon.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, they are also sent there, and they're actually the ones who sort of are guarding the briefcase, but not very well. They also are there with this like Yakuza boss's son, trying to return him back to the Yakuza boss in Kyoto. So the Yakuza boss needs his son and he needs his briefcase. We're also introduced to a young girl character who's just codenamed Prince or the Prince.
Yep. Played by
And
Joey King, who was in Princess, which was a Hulu original, which was
oh,
literally a movie that they went not basic storyline, but it was just one fight scene after the other. Like
right.
it was too much action even for me, and that's
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I mean, I actually quite like Joey King. Like, I feel like she's doing pretty well in terms of those
All right.
action roles.
I hated this character, but I haven't seen her. I've seen her in a couple of. I can't picture right now what I have seen her in, but I recognize her.
She
And I
did
don't
pretty
nothing
well.
against her. Just her character was really annoying.
The Kissing
Um,
Booth, which is on Netflix, she's in that.
okay, I haven't seen that either.
The Princess, which I said before.
Mm-mm.
What is she in? A few TV shows.
Okay.
She was
No,
in Madden NFL 19, Long Shot Homecoming video game.
sure thing.
I'm sure
Well,
you've.
that's what I know her from,
Yep.
definitely. No, I don't know what I've seen her in. I'm scrolling through her list now as well. I don't know what from memory.
She
Nah.
was in The Dark
Maybe
Knight
Dark
Rises.
Knight.
She was the
Yeah.
older prison child.
No, okay. I doubt that's what it was. Maybe I've just seen the trailers for Kissing Booth
Probably.
and stuff.
I baited you into that Dark Knight Rises one. It was
Right. I was
good.
like, oh, I've seen that. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's there, and it's sort of like she's meant to be this character who pretends to be the damsel in distress, but is actually a badass, like assassin sort of character. She and there's this other guy,
I feel like
Kimura.
was she more of like a handler for Ladybug? That's what I felt like. She was like the mission
What?
control, like handler, Joey King.
Joey? No,
Yeah,
she
she was
was. She was, spoiler alert, she was the bad guy's daughter in the end.
in the end, but like obviously she was feeding information to Pitt's character.
No, when?
There wasn't that
They
the
had no
whole.
connection at all.
I thought that was the conversation that he was having. Like through the headphone thing. Eh?
No, that was with Sandra Bullock's character, who we see at the end, Maria.
Ah,
It's a totally different
Maria.
character.
Ah, got you. Ignore
That's
that
his
previous
like yeah,
statement.
his handler was Maria, Sandra Bullock's character, who we see at the end, who was so deadpan. Like that's Sandra Bullock, but she was so deadpan on the phone. I don't think Sandra Bullock suits a voiceover role because her
Okay.
acting is more in her face than her voice. Um,
Yeah,
but
I've never thought about
uh,
that.
there was this Kimura guy who we start with the movie with his son who's been pushed out of off of a roof, and then he has to go. He tries to enact vengeance by chasing down Joey King's character Prince, and then it turns out she pushed the kid off the roof in order to lure the kid's son, sorry, dad, to the train in order to give him a gun and the briefcase in order to kill her own father because, in her words, he has a closer connection to the father. Like, what the hell? Why was it easier to go through all these loops than it would just to be like, Father, I'm coming around for dinner. Bang bang bang. It's it's so convoluted, and that is this film in so many ways. Um, the big bad guy's name was White Death, and he
Yep.
was Michael Shannon, and that was a silly payoff. I thought it was going to be Keanu Reeves because the director and the creator of this was John Wick and other things. I really thought that the big bad guy was going to be Keanu Reeves, and I was excited for the reveal.
No, I'm glad
It
it
was Michael
wasn't.
Shannon.
Yep. I like
It
it.
looks so it looks so weird because he was badass in all the scenes leading up, and then it's this like weedy white guy. Like he's still got some fear in him, but yeah, he
Yeah,
was
that made it better. I thought it was funnier.
yeah,
Like the whole thing was that action comedy, and they lent
yeah,
into both of it, which was why I had such a great time with it.
yeah.
Like
I thought it was pretty funny too. There
like
were a lot of one-off scenes that were hilarious.
yeah, like you could have went into this and just had that convoluted story and gone more serious in terms of the tone, but
Yeah,
we would be complaining about it. But
yeah,
because they
yeah.
went over the top with that sort of
Mm-hmm.
comedy, like when Ladybug's fighting the bloke, the mascot, like I had a good giggle at that. I thought
Yeah,
that was quite funny. I
yeah.
was,
Which we had a little reveal, but that was also another thing is that while those comedy scenes were funny, they didn't need so many layers. Like they also tried to be a really complex, intertwined story with this reveal at the end. And the reveal, the payoff was so crap. Like we were trying to figure out the entire story of how all these characters tie in and why they're all there, and we're sort of piecing things together. And then the reveal is that the bad guy coordinated them to come together because he blames them all for his wife's death. It's so surface level and so like amateur in its writing. The rest was really cool and it was building and it was building and it was building. And then at the end, I just get a little fart. You know, it's like farting after needing a shit. It didn't actually have the payoff that I needed it to have.
all right. I really enjoyed the payoff. I thought it was
Yeah,
fine. Like the whole thing really built into where I thought it was going. Like you lent into the over the top action, you lent into the
yeah,
over the top comedy, you lent into the
yeah.
over the top story. Like I was not fussed with it,
But the
but
ending wasn't over the top. It was a silly vengeance story with
yeah,
like,
I thought that was over the top because they've lent into this like cheesy sort of revenge story, and then they've tied in all these different moving pieces.
yeah,
That's what I
I
felt
wanted
like.
something bigger at the end. The end fight was great, and the fight scenes were probably the best part. The choreography and the way they're using environments and things like that. Really cool. A lot
Cinematography,
of John Wick. Mm-hmm.
you would have loved it in terms of the framing and the use of the
Yeah,
windows, and like
did a
it
good
was.
job.
I also really enjoyed how
Lighting.
yeah, how they also set up the story. So like every station, when the train left the station, it would peak in terms of when it was getting close to the next station.
Yep.
So like each was
Yep.
felt like a nice little mini story, and it
It did.
escalated to be like, yes, this is sick, and then it would go that
Uh-huh.
rubber band effect, so it would drop
Yeah.
when they're at that station, and then it would pick up again, and
Yep.
it would go
Which
pretty quickly, which is kind of nice in terms of bullet train because they go 300 kilometers an hour, I think, something
yeah, I'm
like that.
not sure exactly, but yeah. Which is really cool because it sort of parallels how Brad Pitt's character every single time it stops, he nearly gets off and then something stops him, and then he nearly gets off and something stops him. And we felt that too, like building, 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 and then it's like oh fuck, we're still on this train, like how he was feeling. And I wish, yeah, I thought it was really like the comedy was really fun, like I said. And you're right, there was a lot of good story elements, but I think it should have been. I often say movies should be shorter. I think this should have been about 15 minutes shorter. I didn't think it needed so many characters. Why the hell was that wolf character involved at all? Just so they could set up the whole
it was literally a setup
stupid
character.
snake name,
Yeah,
the whole snake thing. And the payoff there was dumb too, because they've been showing us reveals and reveals and reveals of the snake slithering around and what's it gonna do. And then it finally bit Brad Pitt's character, but because he had anti-venom earlier, it didn't mean anything.
Yep.
So all that building. Again, it was a fight when I needed a shit.
Nah, it was good fun. I giggled. It was just,
Yeah,
it was just, I had a great time with it. Like, it was fun. Like,
yeah,
I
that's
thought,
fair.
I went into this going, this is either going to be really bad or it's just going to be a
Yeah.
good, where it surpassed my expectations in terms of where it was
Mm-hmm.
going. And
Mm-hmm.
for those films that are in those one locations, like sometimes they're really bad, but
Yeah, they
like
can be. Yeah.
staying in one location is really hard to do. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Colin Farrell's like sort of one of his better films was Phone Booth, where they literally he was trapped in
Sure.
a phone booth and he was
Uh-huh.
being like sort of attacked by an assassin or a sniper and he
Mm-hmm.
had to
Mm-hmm.
try and communicate it. Really good. And then you've got like Hot Seat, which is Mel Gibson and have you seen Entourage?
No, not
Uh,
properly. I mean, segments, but
But like
no.
Johnny Drama is like the cousin of the famous guy, and he's part of the entourage. So he's
Okay.
playing the guy that's trapped in a seat because there's a bomb on it. Where
Okay.
yeah, like that was really bad. But like,
Mm-hmm. Oh, Speed. Look at
yeah,
that classic shitty movie.
yeah,
Speaking of Keanu Reeves.
Speed's good though. I like Speed.
Speed is ironically good, but it is actually trash.
Yeah, before its time, they did fantastic.
Mm.
Whatever is
It's a
good.
meme.
No,
It's not good.
it is good. It's great.
Sure,
It keeps you on the edge of your seat.
totally. On the edge of
Whatever.
your bus seat.
Yeah, whatever. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those films where it's good in those one locations.
Yeah, it was, and they had like that's like you said. Sometimes it can be done poorly when it gets really tired, but because they had day and night scenes, because they had some rooms, there was like a whole carriage that was themed after some anime character. Um, there was like amazing like pink and blue, almost vaporwave colors in that carriage. Really well lit, really funny scenes, and like characters back and forth. I just wanted more scenes with characters having a laugh. Uh, I wish Tangerine and Lemon or not, didn't die. I mean, Lemon, don't know if he died or not, but um, they were awesome. I want more of them. I want a whole movie on Tangerine and Lemon,
The
how
backstory.
they grew up. Yeah,
I
right.
I just want to know how they got their name, really. Like,
It was a good laugh. Like the fruit. Everyone's like the fruit. And
yeah.
Channing Tatum's character, his little cameo.
Oh, that's all right. I forgot
It's so
about
funny.
that.
This is a sex thing. And then, oh no, this is a sex thing. And then every single time that Tangerine ran past, he's like, that's a really nice walk.
You
I
say
did
like
love him.
Channing Tatum, he does a fair few cameos. Like his
Mm-hmm.
first cameo was with Seth Rogen. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it was
Okay.
what was the random movie that Seth Rogen did with all his mates? The World's End or not
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
End
whatever
of
it
the
is.
world or something like that.
Yeah, whatever it is, and they were
Not
like,
the world's end.
"No, World's End with Simon Pegg."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
whatever it is, it's one of those
Edgar Wright.
yeah
Mm-hmm.
end of the world movies. But they
Yep,
got
yep.
Channing Tatum to pretty much do the same sort of like sex joke in terms of like is it a
Yeah.
sex party sort of stuff.
Which he's done that a few times, and but it makes me laugh every time. And I love Channing Tatum. He's a funny guy. So no, I enjoyed those little cameos.
Yeah, it was good fun. What would you give it though?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you got anything else
It
on your list.
was still like a three. I probably will watch it again because the action scenes are really fun. and I like a lot of the character back and forth. But the payoff wasn't exciting, and I wanted a little bit more out of the end. I think the first sort of half was far more enjoyable than the rest. It was just again too long.
Okay.
3.
Yep.
You?
4, easy 4 for me. Had a
Okay.
great time. The comedy, the over the top, and like I was engaged every time. Like if it
Mm-hmm.
was that continual building for that time, I probably would have been like
Yeah.
would have downgraded it because it wouldn't have been as engaging. But because it was like here's the climax, back to
Mm-hmm.
the station, and it kept going. So I was like, all right, I'm kind of hooked. It's kind of the pacing, or not the pacing, but what I wanted from 3,000 Years of Longing in terms of tell me another
Okay.
story, drop off, tell me another story. That's
Okay.
what I enjoyed. I had a
Yeah,
great time with it.
I can understand that.
Moving on to Amazon Prime Videos original, My Best Friend's Exorcism. So, if you look at the poster, and that's what's behind you if you're on watching on YouTube, but if you have just Google it, you'll see it. It looks terrible. You watch the trailer, it looks terrible, but I actually had a great time with this.
Really?
I had a great time. So I'll give you the give you the blurb. Teen best
Okay.
friends Abby and Gretchen grapple with an otherworldly demon that takes up residence in Gretchen's body. So it's it this this movie it plays into pretty much every stereotypical role that you could
Yeah.
probably think of. Like
Yep.
you've got the group 4 girls who
Mm-hmm.
they don't really like each other in terms of the main girl Abby is going to be the savior, spoiler alert, but you
Mm-hmm.
established that anyway. And Gretchen, you obviously know, gets possessed by a demon. And then you've
Mm-hmm.
got the real
So that's Abby. Left. Oh, you can't. If
right.
you're on YouTube, I'm not pointing at which one. That's Abby and that's Gretchen. But please continue.
Yeah, so then you've got the main popular, I guess she was kind of portrayed as the athletic girl. I don't know, she just seemed to be the
Who?
had a boyfriend,
Oh,
the
Margaret. Is that one?
Margaret, the one that has the
Yeah, yeah, the
boyfriend.
one who has the boyfriend. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And then you've got the other Shire follower girl,
The token Asian girl. Yeah.
yeah, who turns out, which is led the entire way through, that she
Mm-hmm.
is has a crush on I forgot her name already.
Margaret.
Margaret. So
Yeah, the athletic one.
yeah,
You got blonde girl, dark haired girl, lesbian girl who's also token Asian, and token black girl.
yep.
It's
So
tropey as all hell.
in that, so they organize a Margaret organizes to go to the lake house, and they're like, what's that over in the yonder, when they're sitting on the on the pier. This
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to know any of the previous story because it's just them talking about their daily. No, Gretchen's moving, that's right, Gretchen's moving in the summer.
Yeah,
And
she's
that's,
leaving.
yep. And then our main girl Abby has the typical teenager sort of my skin's no good, I wear makeup, I'm a little bit
Mm-hmm.
insecure sort of
Yeah,
style. And they like, you can't go over to that lake house over across the lake because it was a folklore of a satanic ritual or something or other.
yeah. Someone was sacrificed there,
Yeah,
as
someone
they
or other.
reckon. Mm-hmm.
So what do after being in?
I
No,
have to dick around with a Ouija board as well.
oh, that's right. So I'm just jumping ahead, but
It's okay.
they used a Ouija board, and the boyfriend randomly appears for some jump
Mm.
scares. I thought the jump scares
Pause.
were all right. Like
Yeah.
you knew they were coming, but they still had
Mm-hmm.
the impact that you sort of wanted. Like they did well.
Mm-hmm.
They do a acid trip, and what was it? Abby and Gretchen leg it out into the woods because Margaret made a comment to Abby about no one cares about your skin or something or other. So
Yeah. Yeah.
she ran out, and that was the catalyst of her going to
Mm-hmm.
the lake house. And
Mm-hmm.
then once we get the lake house, I thought the entity or whatever it was in terms of what they see and the
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
house was actually really cool. Like that was pretty creepy. And
Had to
then
be inspired by Ashley Evil Dead, right?
I'm assuming. I'm assuming it had to
Mm.
be like it had to have some tropes towards
Yeah.
that. And
The
then
tropes were good.
Yeah, once
Yeah.
Gretchen gets possessed and everything kicks off, I
Hmm.
really liked Gretchen's portrayal of her
Okay.
becoming possessed. I thought she did quite
Yeah.
well, and like
Hmm.
it does get explained later on. But I gotta say, the Lemon Brothers, absolutely hilarious.
Oh, the Lemon Brothers.
I
Yes.
loved them. I thought they were great. They
The
were
best part.
and
Totally. You would
the
have loved them. I knew you would love them. A
yep.
lot of the things I wrote on my notes page are quotes by them.
You
Hot
know,
damn, we got ourselves a demon. I'm going to go protein load.
yes. When they're doing the exorcism, and he's just like, "Gotta go protein load." He's like begging
Yeah.
salt at her. We're jumping ahead. We're jumping ahead. We'll come back to this.
Oh, no,
That's
but
that's the
fuck.
whole
Yeah,
segment. Yeah.
they were so great. So, so good.
So Gretch, the whole thing when someone is becoming possessed by the demon in this sort of their own laws is that they
Yeah.
get worse before they get better. So they'll start to
Hmm.
like deteriorate and sort of
Hmm.
cause some harm and stuff as well. Where I felt it was really cool in terms of kind of spooky of what Gretchen's going with, like going under or
Hmm.
experiencing, until they
Hmm.
showed the scene where she's in the house and the alarm's going off and you can see her like
Yeah.
moving and stuff. Where
Hmm.
I felt like that reduced the payoff to seeing her becoming possessed. Like I would have liked
Sure.
that more mysterious sort of. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what to expect because she's like scratching and causing self harm. You can see
Hmm.
like her
Hmm.
face and like the makeup and whatever they're doing is making her look obviously not being
Yeah.
able to sleep. And she talks about how the demon is like visiting her and
Holding her down. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
During the night and stuff.
yeah.
Can
So
I
like
just add on to that while we're there?
yeah,
That whole thing, and this is a weird tonal shift that this movie has a lot of weird tonal shifts. But when uh when Gretchen starts talking to Abby about he holds me down, he this, he that, he attacked me when we were in the lake house, he's been attacking me every night since. Um Abby then, justifiably so, he goes and does some research, and the way they do in the late mid to late 80s was reading magazines, and she starts to believe that Gretchen was raped and that she's going through PTSD every night and reliving the moment. And that was really fucking heavy. And Abby is going around to everyone and being like, she was raped. Not even, not even spinning like accusations. I think she might have been raped. I think this happened. She's just like, this person was raped, and she's straight out calling out Wallace. That to me was really like shocking, and I really don't think they should have gone down that rape road at all in this light-hearted, funny horror comedy to introduce something like that. Same with when they go down the road of body issues.
I don't think it was
Um,
light-hearted at all. The rating would suggest that it's not a light-hearted film.
well, that's sort of what I was the most. I mean, keep talking because I don't want to explore too much without you exploring the end first. But that to me was the biggest problem, was that it continuously went between so many different tones. At one point, it felt like a horror satire with so many plot setups and tropes, and then it went down this weird body issues path, and then it went down this weird. Anyway, keep going, keep going.
Well, I mean, it's advertised as a comedy horror thriller. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I feel like it does reasonable with it, but I feel like it probably just needed to drop the thriller and probably just keep the comedy horror. And
Need to
then
pick a lane.
yeah, I still enjoyed it. But as
Mm-hmm.
after that scene where you've learnt that obviously Gretchen has the demon, where I didn't really care after that. Like I was like, okay, you're possessed, but
Yeah.
I did
Yep.
like the shift. Like I feel like the actor for Gretchen did quite a good job in terms of showing
Good.
the different personalities and like when she's
Yep.
possessed and switching back and forth. Like there was that
Mm-hmm.
whole build up where she was looking real bad, and after you said about obviously when Abby goes and does her investigation. After that,
Mm-hmm.
where all of a sudden she comes back and she's like looking healthier and looking better, but
Yeah.
you can see the attitude shift. Like
Makeup
when
did a great job.
yeah, and the teacher was like, "No, you're on God's time," and she's asking to go to the
Mm-hmm.
toilet, and
And
she
she
just
piss
strolls
and
up.
bin. Yeah.
Like it was a really good progression in terms of a character arc
Mm-hmm.
for her being able to show being possessed by a demon. Like
That's fair. Yep.
I quite enjoyed the shift, even to the point where she starts to try and isolate. Well, the demon's isolating Gretchen from the
By
friends
insulting all
where
the friends. Yeah, yeah.
to the
And then
point
she
where
tries to keep
kill
going.
kill
Yeah,
the what's her name, the
Lee and Margaret.
yeah. So one, she gets to eat the nuts and is like, let's play a game. Oh, I love that shift. Like she was
But excuse me, if you were deathly allergic to peanuts and someone hands you a brownie, you're gonna ask, "Does this have any peanuts?" Even if they said, "Does it have any peanuts?" and Gretchen, in her, lying, she's like, "Oh no, trust me, we're good friends." Even something like that would have been fine. But she even asked, "You just down this brownie without even?
but
You're
it
deathly allergic."
but if you're in that sort of state in terms of you've just been outed in terms of your sexuality, you've been baited by your friend to like go have a crack, you'd be upset. Like, look,
Sure,
teenagers
you'll be upset, but
teenagers do some dumb things, man. Like there'd be
I
many
know we
times that
see
they
it.
forget. And
I don't know. I just felt like that was too
and if
plot
you're
convenient.
yeah, but she's been friends with them. Obviously, we assume that these four girls have been friends for quite some time. It's like you would know
Yes.
that your friend is allergic to peanuts. Like you wouldn't be going, here, have a brownie. I'm not sure if there's peanuts in it. Just, you know, take the gamble.
Yeah. I mean,
So I feel like
sure.
you I feel like knowing someone, like if you're allergic to peanuts and I gave you something, you would probably assume that I would know that you're allergic to peanuts. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. I don't know. That just felt convenient. There's a lot of that in this. A lot of conveniences.
Yeah, but
It was written like a shoujin anime at times.
yeah. So I did like the shift in terms of once she was having the anaphylactic shock in terms of
Hmm.
swelling up and
Yeah.
she's like, let's play a game, like that
Hmm.
full shifted tone and
Hmm.
just the you're cold. Just like yelling at her.
Yeah. Cold. Cold. You're so fucking cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're
Yeah.
hot cold.
And then
Yeah.
except with when she's drinking whatever the diet shake is for I keep forgetting it. Megan,
Margaret.
Margaret. That was
Yeah. Feeding her
close.
tapeworms.
Yeah,
That scene was dumb.
that was dumb. That was unfortunately a letdown. I'd rather the alien where it just popped out of her like stomach or
Yeah.
just
But
seeing
again, pick a lane. Which horror are you doing? Are you doing demonic horror or are you doing gruesome horror? Are you doing like they just kept they
can't
didn't
you
do
do both
one
though?
well enough. Stick to one and do it really well.
Yeah, but if you look at Evil Dead or like Ash vs Evil Dead, they do that in terms of that horror over the top like gore and comedy all blended in.
But there's then what other scene is gore horror in this entire thing?
Right at the end when they actually deal with the whole demonic, that whole last segment in terms
The
of
vomiting and stuff.
the
I don't know.
vomiting, the how they actually deal with the demon. Like I felt like that was playing into the over the top.
Mm,
Obviously, it doesn't get the R rating here. It would be MA 15 for us, but
yeah, I don't know.
it's R in America.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
but the final confrontation in terms
Hmm.
of I loved how Abby went to see the Lemon Brothers. They're just in a
Yeah.
mall. An old mate
Hmm.
who I was struggling to work out where I'd seen him from, but he was in, I'm pretty sure he was in Veronica Mars, and he has a stint
Okay.
where he actually goes out with Veronica at some point. Yeah, he's Piz in Veronica Mars.
Right. And I've never watched Veronica Mars.
I love Veronica Mars. It's so good.
Sure.
He's in How I Met Your Father. That's a terrible,
Also haven't
terrible.
watched. No.
Don't worry about it. And he was in I Zombie for
No.
an episode. I Zombie was good. I enjoyed that. Lost its way in
Okay.
season 3 or 4. But
Yeah, he looked
anyway,
familiar. Like I feel like I've seen him maybe as like a side character in something, but
yeah, he's got a reasonable list of stuff. But I enjoyed him. Like obviously
yeah.
the brothers, the whole introduction of the Lemon Brothers were fantastic.
Yeah.
The buff
That's
sort
great.
of what were they? They were the buff touring word spreading of God.
Christian, yeah, like praising how Christianity's made them strong. And they were really funny.
Like
The
the
props
clean and
look crap.
snatch. Oh yeah, the clean and snatch with the Lord gives me strength to lift it.
Yeah, yeah, with the actual cross.
Yeah. Ah, so
Yeah,
funny.
which was foam as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really funny. I wanted more with all three of them. I wish that the end scene wasn't just Christian, which is a dumb name for a Catholic bodybuilder. Um,
Mm,
but I wish it was all three of them because all three of them were so funny. And I actually found Christian sort of the least funny out of the three. The eldest it was so funny as well that like the eldest was buff as, and then the second eldest, the middle kid, was kind of buff, not as buff, and then you got Christian, who's like the weakling at the bottom,
yeah.
sloppy rig.
That's pretty funny. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he actually did really well in terms of that awkward comedy where he's like,
Yeah.
I can do the exorcism. She's
Hmm.
like, I can give you 10 yogurt cards. He's like,
Yeah.
yes.
Right. I
Oh,
loved as well that he at what like gets to a point where the demon is pretending to be his mum, and he's like, nope, nope, I'm out, bye, and he just up and leaves. But also, how is Abby meant to know anything about what to do here? But yeah, he just like, no, okay, bye. The rest of the use, yeah.
I mean,
Like,
he had no idea as well.
obviously, yeah.
That whole scene where he's just pegging salt at her. He's like, I just need to do damage to the body.
He's just
He's just
wrecking it.
pegging salt at her.
It was
So
funny.
funny.
Like funneling a big like vat of holy water down her throat. It
Like
was, yeah.
it went on for too long, but it was
Yeah, it did.
funny the whole time. Like I
Oh
laughed.
no.
I think
Yeah.
it was because it went for that longer period. It got funny again. Where I was like, all right,
Oh really? No,
let's
I got
move
over
on.
it.
Nah, it went from just pegging salt in her to like pretty much putting a funnel in her mouth. Yeah,
Drowning her.
to
They
then
didn't like they're
getting
not
her.
worried about killing her at all.
Well, no,
Well, Abby
because
is.
apparently he was saying they need to do damage to the body because it makes the demon
Yeah.
harder to hide.
Yeah,
To
no,
the point where he was
some
about to
weird
do
rules.
boiling water on her with the kettle.
Yeah, it runs into the boiling water. That annoyed me too, though, is that I mean, boiling water, that's probably too far. But Abby brought him there to exercise her, and she kept stopping him the whole time. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Like he knows what he's doing. Well, sort of. Let him do his thing. Even Gretchen's like, let him do it. I need him out.
Yeah,
Let
but
him do his thing.
if you're seeing someone that you care about being like pretty much just abused
Getting
or
pegged with salt. Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, is that a little bit too far? Because like you're not seeing the demon. Like there's not.
You're exercising the demon out of her.
Yeah.
Of course you're gonna go far.
Although something that was done was that sleeping pill. How quickly that worked in terms of when
Yeah.
Abby had to break into the house and like put it into
Hmm.
her diet coke, and it
Yeah.
worked too quickly. And she didn't even have much. It was just like a sip.
A little sip and she was
It was
gone. I
yeah.
know.
But I don't.
Yeah.
What did he say it was? GBH or something or other. I can't
GHB.
remember something or other. He was like,
I thought GHB was protein. Like I thought I was actually writing my notes. Can you please explain GHB? I thought it was like a term you would know, like a bodybuilding thing.
well, I don't know about the going to sleep part. Like that's I was confused about.
Right. Oh well. Um, let's get to the end where there's like a final battle, and all of a sudden it becomes like an action fight scene, like at the end of the invitation, where all of a sudden there was a fight scene. I'm sick of horror movies having to end with a fight scene.
When it
We don't
finally
need a fight scene.
when it finally comes out, and then we finally get the reveal of the demon who looks
Yeah.
this lanky, like
I think he looked pretty good though.
it looked like Dobby and Gollum
Yeah. Yeah,
combined.
that's fair. I think he looked like for what this movie was, I'm a little surprised that he looked so good, like CG wise. He looked solid.
Oh,
They
I
did well.
thought, yeah, the whole demonic stuff looked pretty good in terms of like
Mhm.
when she was being possessed. So they,
Did you notice
yeah,
that throughout the whole film, Abby's like whenever there was an outside scene, they had to obviously do some like audio dubbing. Hers felt off so often. Do you feel that at all?
well, no, because I downloaded it on my phone, so I watched it on the plane ride back from the
Okay,
Gold Coast. But
right.
every time I watched it, it took me like 30 seconds to a minute to go into the settings and change the audio description because every time I'd start the video, it would have the original dialogue, but then it would have
Mhm.
like audio descriptions of what was happening. It was like Abby is
What?
alone walking to a bench.
This is on Amazon.
Yeah. So
What? That's so weird.
they like it defaulted to that. So every time I had to like stop or start, it would then default
I
to
missed that. Right.
description, and it was so
Okay.
weird. But like
I found it weird.
I didn't notice any of the dubbing parts. So,
Right. One
but
one thing I did. Oh, you want to put GHB?
oh, yeah, I forgot
No,
about it.
that's what I thought we were going to get to. No, you're good.
No,
One
so
thing I did find that was really, really cool.
yeah,
Wait, do you want to go?
no,
I thought
you
you
go.
weren't ready. Okay.
No,
This is GHB.
yeah.
Give me.
GHB was marketed as a bodybuilding and weight loss drug and sold in health food
Sure.
store. Recreational use of GHB became more widespread as a GHB was abused at clubs, raves, and dance venues for what was it? Stimulant and relaxant effects. Does it increase
Okay.
muscle growth? There's no GHB leads to release of growth hormone, although there's no clinical studies to support its effectiveness increasing
Okay.
muscle mass.
Whatever. Whatever.
I mean, if it
All
was
right.
in
So
the
it says like
80s, they just did
kind of like a
whatever.
speed thing.
Yeah. It's
Um. Yeah. Sorry.
but I guess when they overdose, you get too much of it. And then
Get sleepy
yeah.
instantly. You just pass out.
Who
Every
knows?
bodybuilder would just be passing out.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, there was a scene, the bit where Gretchen gets like taken, possessed, whatever, and she just trips over nothing, which is a trope. Now at that point that was fine because I thought they were doing more of a satire anyway. But the part where Abby's running through the woods and the demon's like, I'm right behind you, I'm right behind you. That was fucking cool. I really liked that.
Oh,
You
the
know, and
voices were cool as well. Like it
mhm,
reminded me of when Venom talks, the new Venom films.
sure.
Have you
Uh-huh.
seen that? Like how
I've only seen trailers and stuff. I haven't
uh,
actually watched them.
so when like Venom talks, they've actually got the actor's real voice, but then they've put like some filter over it, which makes it sound like monsterish.
Yeah, yeah,
Which it reminded me of that, and I really did
yeah.
enjoy the voice of the demon. Like they didn't overuse it,
Mm-hmm.
where if they were continually doing it in every scene, you'd be like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
let's move on. But they saved it to the point where it was really effective. But
Yeah, I don't know.
no,
I didn't like it.
I loved it. I the
Saw the whole
cheesiness,
way through.
the cheesiness of the actual final confrontation, with how Abby deals with the demon. Like spoiler alert, where she
Mm-hmm.
gets the lighter and
Mm-hmm.
the alcohol and just like
Mm-hmm.
spits it. I laughed and also was
Yeah.
disappointed with it at the same time.
She has
I
some
can't,
cheesy like line that I can't remember what she says, something about alcohol going in is more less dangerous, alcohol coming out or something.
yeah,
I don't know. Some bullshit. But why would fire kill a demon? Aren't they from hell?
I don't know.
Like
Maybe
the
in the fit,
36th layer or something of hell or something that
I don't know,
Christian said.
the physical plane hurts them. I don't know.
Whatever. They make whatever
But
rules they want. And the power of love saving the day. Fucking stupid.
yeah, but
I hated it.
I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, fair.
The whole
And then at the end we get that cheesy they got the montage, the denouement of going to each person having a little thing on the screen like Legally Blonde.
yeah,
That was cute because it lent into the 80s stereotype. And
yeah,
that's my problem with the whole fucking thing. They could have just made it an 80s an 80s sort of tribute to dodgy cabin in the woods sort of horror tropes and just gone up the whole way and made it almost like a scary movie in a way.
yeah,
And just made it like or like down the road of Shaun of the Dead and just make it do all the little tropes and make it a tribute but also funny and satirical in ways. But this tried going in every single direction at once. I felt tonally it was a mess. Um, I'm going to rate into a rating at this point. It was a 2, man. I don't understand how you think it
yeah.
was good.
I enjoyed it. I just thought it was over the top, and it was just dumb fun. Like there was moments where it was good, but it was just I don't know. I just enjoyed it. It flowed. I never really thought about in depth. It was just fun for me to watch this.
Okay.
Just it's kind of reminded me
I
of
the first like 30 minutes I thought it was really fun and then went
yeah,
everywhere. To remind you of what, sorry?
Paper Girls in terms
I
of
haven't not
no. So Paper Girls is based off the. I guess they had a comic. They've got comics. I haven't read them, but
okay.
it's another Amazon Prime sort of. It's not horror, but it's like
Right.
sci-fi in terms of the girls get sucked up into some time traveling war. So
Okay.
but it's set in like the 80s. So it did
Sure.
remind me of like that sort of fun 80s vibe. Like
Mm-hmm.
it felt like it fit into the 1980s, and I did like the over the top in terms of all the stereotypical stuff. But the Lemon Brothers
Yeah.
is what really sold me on it. Like
Great.
they were fantastic.
Yeah, they
Like
were real fun.
it's a three for me because I would recommend this to people. I'd be like,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
this is fun. Like
Really? Nah.
don't go into it thinking it's going to be great, but it's going to be fun. If someone came to you and go, give me a bad fun horror film, would you be like, wait, check this one out?
No, I'd probably suggest other movies before this.
Nah,
What if we watched movies in the past, I'd suggest before this. I'd suggest go watch Jurassic Domination over this. It's more fun. Even Invitation is more fun.
no,
Margot is way more fun than this.
oh, I don't know. I had a good time with this though.
Oh, really? No, I
Yeah.
never want to watch it ever again. I thought it was a
Oh
fucking
wow,
mess. There was shit everywhere.
that's what made it so fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Um, Even with the song choices, I wrote a few down in terms of like they were right on the nose, and that's where I felt they should have stayed on the nose more. They had songs like "I Think We're Alone Now," "Who's Watching Me," "I'm Gonna Get You," "I'm Gonna Get You," "Gonna Get You." Putting them in little boxes, like little coffins, sort of thing. That they did so many really obvious choices that initially I thought was because it was satirical, but I think those choices were I don't know. It felt like in the end they made these choices thinking they were being clever when I took it as they were being ironic. But I think they were trying to be really like they thought they really did something, you know?
I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. I'd never watch it ever again.
Yep. No, I
I
won't
wouldn't
watch.
recommend it to anybody.
I won't watch it again, but I'll recommend it to people.
Yeah,
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to a more serious tone and let's go
mm,
into House of the Dragon,
yeah.
episode 7, Driftmark. So I got to say, this is the darkest episode I've ever seen in terms of had my phone up to max brightness, and
Yes.
I still struggled, but we'll get to that. So this
Yeah.
is set probably about 24 to 48 hours after however long it takes them to organize a funeral and
It's
people to
soon
travel,
after.
like
Hmm.
whatever that time period is. But it's for I can't remember her name, Leanne, the Damon's wife, which is the sea serpent's daughter.
Oh, sure.
What's her name?
Uh
It starts with an L.
uh I know, right? I'm not on the list right now.
Doesn't matter.
I know I'm so bad at all these names.
Yeah, it doesn't
Thought
matter.
I'd be doing better by this point, but
But anyway, they're
on
there.
me.
They're gathered for the funeral, and like you've got obviously Rhaenyra and her sons are there,
Hmm.
and you've got. I like how they're still going into and the big payoff in terms of the legitimacy of her children. Like that has a big
Hmm.
factor into this. I did like Damon has he's around, but he's not massive role in this where when the actual funeral is taking place, you've got obviously the guy doing the speech, and you've got Damon like giggling,
Hmm.
which was an
Yeah,
interesting
that
little
whole scene
touch.
was really cool. How they had everyone like it was really quiet, and it was just glances back and forth for a few minutes. Like it was drawn out,
Yeah, like
and they built
building.
tension really well between all the characters there.
Yeah, they're really building tension with them. Uh,
Lena, by the way.
Lena, that's it. I
Hmm.
did really like the so after that whole funeral scene, how it's all set in that like, sort of that one location. I like
Yeah.
the tension is really building with Rhaenyra and Allison, and I
Hmm.
got to
Hmm.
say, Allison originally. I was like, is she pretty much just going to be a side character? But I'm really enjoying her arc in terms of
Yeah.
how she's growing. And I thought the actress, did an amazing job in this episode. Like
Hmm.
I really enjoyed her like outburst in terms of where all that sort of led to that final big confrontation where the
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
surprised me as well. So the kids
Same.
act they were really good actors
Hmm.
considering where you were kind of expecting. And like the kids, we knew they don't get along, and we know that they didn't get along due to previous episode. And obviously
Yeah.
that comes to a head. I can't remember the kids' names, but
I know, especially kids that I've stopped paying attention to be honest.
so
Uh, Jakaris and like there's Jake and Luke more or less are
yes, but
Rhaenyra's sons.
Allison's kid, the
The
one
one who
who
stole his Aemond, I think.
yeah, so he claims the dragon.
Hmm.
So he like just legs. I guess what was he doing? He was just there, and he was like, the dragon's unclaimed. So he went and
Yeah,
claimed
basically,
it.
he just was obsessed with claiming a dragon, and he knew there was one available, so he just snuck on in there.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
he claimed the dragon. Then we have a confrontation with the children to
Yep.
the point where Allison's kids, because I cannot name them from my memory at all. So I'm just gonna refer to them as Allison's children for a little bit. But
Sure.
he is it Prince Aegon?
Aegon is the one who took the dragon.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So Prince Aegon insults Rhaenyra's son. Was it Jace or
Hmm.
was it Luke? I can't remember which
I
one
don't
it
remember.
was.
One of the illegitimate children.
Yeah, so he pretty much calls him a bastard, and then that
Hmm.
just absolutely kicks off that massive tension scene in terms of
Yeah.
hitting people with a rock, and then well,
Hmm.
it was a younger one, wasn't it? So it was one of them pulls out a
Yeah.
knife and
The
slashes
older
him.
one, like trying to protect the younger one, pulls out his knife. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just takes the eye. And that's where the whole episode sort of kicks into a head in
Hmm.
terms of that massive confrontational scene
Yeah. Yeah.
up where Allison's going absolutely nuts.
Totally. I demand that
An
what did
eye
she
for
say?
an
Something
eye.
along the lines of an eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's and the fact that like I loved when you know King comes in and he's like, that's enough, no more of this, etc., etc. And then we see as the scene sort of plays out, Allison just kicks off again, grabs a knife out, and everyone's like, what the fuck do we even do? Like, who do we defend at this point? Do we defend the queen to be or the current queen?
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
And
it's
everyone
really
just
interesting.
that whole scene where they pulled back and it was this that whole sort of crowd is just staring at him where
Hmm.
Damon
Hmm.
moves to stop Cole coming in as well. Did you see
Yeah,
that one? Yeah,
yeah,
that was cool.
totally.
Locking that
Just
to
jumps
just
in like, nope.
don't let them sort it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that
It puts
was
a lot of faith in because obviously he would side with Rhaenyra. It puts a lot of faith in Rhaenyra to be able to defend herself.
you'd assume that they would have formal training. Like you see
Hmm.
the princes having training, like you would assume.
Yeah, and when she was young, she always talked about wanting to be a knight.
Yeah,
Not wanting to be in the birthing chambers to actually be on the battlefield.
yeah.
Mm,
Well, we haven't seen her do anything, but we just
not
assume that
really.
she's had some training.
Yeah,
And then obviously that scene, I was pretty speechless with that scene. Like
yeah.
it was just good. Like there's
I was yelling at Allison. She can fuck off, man. I'm
that's
totally team. This feels like Twilight again in a
yeah.
way. I'm team Rhaenyra all the way. Are you kidding me?
But in terms of an actress being able to portray that across,
Yes.
it's the same with like Joffrey. Like you hate the
Yes.
character, which means
Oh,
they've
totally.
done a fantastic job.
Absolutely right.
So
I don't hate her anywhere near as much as I hated him.
no,
But yeah, fair point. Very fair point.
I mean,
She can fuck
like
off.
if you had any worries about like those actresses, I feel like
Hmm.
now that they should easily be set in sort of stone that they've done well in terms
Yeah,
of their casting choices.
I'm feeling better about it now after a couple episodes. I feel a bit more connected with them and more grounded with connecting the two old versus now
Yeah. Well,
actors.
I hope the kids that you're not connected to, because they're going a big time skip as well for next episode.
Good, because they need a bit more character. Right now, they just feel like child number one and child number two.
Yep, but if you needed it to be able to establish the sort of
Mhm.
the backstory in terms of how they hate each
How
other.
far is the next one?
It's long enough that the kids are older. So if you look at just House of Dragon episode 8, sort of, I guess, put it into images, you'll see Prince Aegon with the eye patch, who looks very similar to Damon a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
so
glad. Oh, yeah, he does.
yeah,
Wow, he really does. I
so
thought when I saw that image that it was Damon. I didn't really actually click.
no, so I don't know what the time period is, but he's definitely
Yeah,
probably,
while.
like, I would say somewhere between 15 to early
Mm-hmm.
20s, somewhere in
Mm-hmm.
that period. I can't remember what the
That's
time
gonna be
period
fucking
is.
cool. And he's got the biggest, most badass dragon.
Yep, it's
He's
going.
sick. Yeah.
Yep,
I'm like, as much as I'm Team Rhaenyra, this kid Aegon, man, like, he's grew on me, and he's just I've always enjoyed characters that are just relentless
yep,
and do whatever the fuck they want. And that's why I've enjoyed every scene with Matt Smith's character, because
yep,
he is fun to watch.
yeah. And how's the kid's line where he's like, "Don't worry, mum, I lost an eye, but I gained a
Mm,
dragon." Like,
hmm And
that's
then his
such.
grandfather Otto being like, the price he paid, well, the reward he got was worth 10, what do you say, 1,000 times the price he
Yep,
paid. So
yep.
legit. Got the
Oh,
biggest, most powerful fucking dragon into the Hightower family. Pretty
yep.
wild.
That's insane. Like, things are
Mm-hmm.
going to be absolutely hectic soon.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously we got Rhaenyra and Damon going on a very dark walk. Very dark walk.
Yeah.
What is wrong with showing some lighting? Like, that whole scene was
Moody.
was we've been building to that scene for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's true.
at least show us, like, have it, make it a full moon. Give us something that we can actually
Give some
see.
lighting.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like
I was
it was
watching it during the day at first, and I couldn't see shit, so I just stopped watching and waited until the sun had gone down.
like,
Couldn't see anything.
you could have just given us some lighting to be able to, like, just show the characters. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we get that it's dark and we get that it's
Mm-hmm.
nighttime. We don't need
Sure.
to struggle to see like they would be. So,
But I
like,
still prefer that than Walking Dead, when they film in the middle of the day and then just put some effects over it and some color grading to make it look like nighttime, and it looks like shit because it's all shadows everywhere. I'd rather if they want to do a night scene, I'd rather do it properly, I guess.
yeah, but they could have made it a full moon, so at
Make it
least
visible.
there's
Yeah.
something to see. Like, obviously, that's where Rhaenyra and Damon do finally connect and
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
what we've been sort of building to. That tension obviously
Yeah.
comes to a head, and then we get a secret wedding of Damon
Yeah.
and Rhaenyra.
Why was it a secret though?
Because it's, I guess it's kind of be seen as a power play in terms of
Mm-hmm.
so soon after,
But he
obviously.
himself says, like, fine, let them think what they want to think. If they think that, then they know that we're dangerous.
Yeah, but
So why not
obviously,
make it a spectacle?
because her husband died, and then I guess she would have been put under, I guess,
Yeah.
trial for.
She says that.
Yeah.
He's like, let them think what they want to think.
Yep.
Then after that scene, we go back to seeing Rhaenyra with her husband, whose name I've also forgotten 1,000 times over.
Oh
What's
yeah.
his Illyrian?
The
Laenor?
something,
Doesn't matter.
another L.
It doesn't matter. Man, why am I so bad at this?
I don't know. They need to pick
After
easier
all this
names.
time.
See, like,
Laenor. Yes, it's
yeah,
Laenor. It's Laenor.
yeah,
So Laenor comes back and he's like, I should have been here. And I love the line where he goes, I should have been here. And she says, that should be our family's motto or whatever, our house words or whatever, like burn. But he then sort of betroths himself in a way, and sort of says to her, I'm sorry that I've been sort of everywhere. Can we, I can redevote myself and we can re-solidify the family name. And at this point, she's already decided that she wants to be with Damon. So they, and this has confused me a little bit because was it and this is what I understood, and correct me please. From my understanding, Rhaenyra and Damon plan to kill him, and they hire that guy who who he's I think either in love with or connected with or has some sort of gay relationship with in some way, um, and wants to go kill him, but he says make sure there's witnesses. But then they fake his death and they burn another body, and then he more or less rides off into the sunset. The last scene we see is him shaved his head on a rowboat, and he and his boy toy are escaping, and he's leaving it all behind, I guess.
Yep.
And he's left his father and mother thinking that he's dead. That's horrible.
Yeah, I guess the other the other thing was he was never going to live the life that he wanted to, so he decided to do it. So
he made the decision that Rhaenyra refused with Sir Christian Cole.
Yeah, so good on him, I guess. If that's what brings him happiness, good on him. Just
totally, that's a cool little parallel because she could have done the same thing and run away with the person she loved and escaped all the bullshit, but
they also could have killed him. So I feel like that's an option too.
That hella confused me because I also thought when he said make sure the witnesses, I also thought maybe Damon wanted to wanted to fake his death as well. But why would Damon want to help him? Maybe just because he doesn't want to kill him. I don't know. I was a bit confused there.
No, I feel like it would probably come into play later. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe we'll explain better later. But
Damon does what he wants.
Dumb. Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
What else was there?
Things are moving massively.
Mm-hmm.
It was mainly. I'm very confused what the kids would call the now married parents. So obviously, Damon has married his niece, so his daughters would call Rhaenyra their.
They'd be second cousins.
Yeah.
Second or cousin. Yeah. Is that right? Or whatever. Second cousin or cousin once removed, something like that.
Yeah. So because she would be their second cousin.
I think so.
If that's, I don't know. I'm trying to follow the family tree in terms of what.
Yeah, I forget what that's called, but yeah, something like that. Cousin or something along those lines. Mm-hmm.
Do they call their cousin mum, or do they call her just mum? Or do they
it would be cousin. It would be cousin.
It would be.
Yeah. Because my dad's brother's son is my cousin. Yeah. Yeah. So cousin, but also mum now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very confusing in terms of what
and same with
call it. And I guess Rhaenyra's kids as well.
Yeah, Rhaenyra's kids. It's like great uncle, but also dad.
Yeah, great uncle dad.
Yeah.
That would.
But even Aegon himself says, his weird sister who's like collecting bugs or whatever. It's like I'd marry her in a heartbeat if I had to. Like that was my duty or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he gets it. He's an interesting character. I'm really curious to see where he goes, and if he's anything like the rest of the Targaryen men, he's going to be pretty violent and wild. And yeah, I hope he's as fun as Damon.
Hopefully, I guess we'll see. I think
he's obviously going to be on the High Tower side. It's going to be like the High Towers versus the Targaryens soon. He's going to be in the High Tower side, and
it's going to be the war between the green and the black.
Green and black. Oh, she is High Tower green.
Yep, you would have seen Allison always wearing green.
Wearing green, yeah. Oh, that's right. They say when she walks into the wedding wearing green, they say that they would fly a green banner before war or something.
Yep, and then you always see Rhaenyra wearing a dark, like black
or whatever.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Red and the black.
Yep.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think it set a lot up. There weren't a lot of weren't a lot of scenes. Like the scenes that were there were very long scenes. But I think that's good. We spent a lot of time with a lot of characters and seeing, I mean, as usual, as we've seen with this show, having sort of less characters means we get more time with them and we get to rediscover a lot. Uh, I'm curious to see where the kids go. Really, really curious how they're growing up. It's kind of cool. I'm liking all these time skips. The more that I'm watching it and the more that it's happening to me, the more I'm really enjoying the time skips. And it's cool, like you said about the bullet train and stuff, having all these little stories. Like it feels like we're just getting captures in time in these grand life events. We're seeing these little pockets. And at first it was throwing me off, but now that I'm sort of getting used to it and finding my rhythm a bit, I'm really liking it. I'm liking it more and more. The show, it's always been like I've always enjoyed it, but the more I'm watching it, the less it feels just like Game of Thrones again. The more it feels like its own show, and the more that I'm appreciating what it's doing. Yeah, definitely, it was good.
I didn't like
And,
the time skips originally. Like it was really
mm,
off-putting. But
yeah,
like you've become accustomed to it now. You've had what
totally.
7 hours of the show. Like you're used
Yeah.
to how quickly we're moving. But I did enjoy this episode. Like those
Hmm.
scenes were really good. It's
Hmm.
sort of I'm in the middle in terms of a 3 and a 4. So I reckon
Okay.
it's a 3.5.
Three
Like
and a half,
I'm
sure. Yeah.
depending on how I think about it, it really depends if I'm at the 3 or at the 4. So I reckon I'm just going to split the
Hmm.
difference and just be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's okay.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's definitely it's a good episode. Like there's
Closer
not
to a four than a three. Yeah.
yeah
Hmm. Yeah, it was a four for me. I think it did everything the episode needed to do. Um, it yeah, I'm again initially I was comparing it so heavily to Thrones, and I guess it's hard not to. But the show's paced differently, and it's taken me time to sort of adjust to it. Uh, but yeah, this episode was great. There wasn't anything that I wish was different, or that I was questioning, or that I thought was dumb. I thought all the decisions were made a lot of sense. I was a bit confused, like I said, with the ending, but really, really good episode, and it set up so much stuff. And I'm so keen for what Aegon becomes, because he isn't a brat like his older brother. His older brother's self obsessed and like so oblivious to the world. Where Aegon, he gets it. He understands the necessary drive. So I'm really keen to see where he goes for
yeah.
sure.
They're gonna be cool. All
Mm-hmm.
right,
Very.
nice. All
Heck
right,
yeah.
nice.
Next week.
So next week we have a bit of a horror focus, really, because it is
Yeah.
October. So we'll probably have a few more horror films coming in there. But no surprise, we are having Smile in there. Like it's going to be good fun. So it just might
Hmm.
bring a smile to your dial. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Here it
so
comes.
yep, Smile and Mister
Mr.
Harrigan.
Harrigan's phone.
Mr. Harrigan's phone. It's
Yeah, it doesn't
another
look
horror
great.
film. I know nothing about it, so I will look forward to seeing that one. Hopefully, I'll
I
watch
know
it.
that it's loosely based on a Stephen King, either a Stephen King novel or a Stephen King novella.
Okay.
So I know that Stephen King's credited in the writing,
Yep.
but it's based on an iPhone, so
Okay.
I mean, must be very loosely based on Stephen
Yeah.
King. I don't know. I'm
Uh,
curious to see where it goes.
yep. And also House of the Dragons episode 8. So we will be back. We'll be back on track
Yeah, we might
almost.
watch. We might watch two episodes. Oh, you wanted to watch something else as well, another movie.
No, that's all right.
We
We're
want to do
doing.
four things.
No, no,
No,
maybe. No, we might
we can
surprise
always
you.
watch those two and then catch up on House of Dragon. Watch episode 8 and 9 for next stream.
Yeah. So I don't know. You guys are being surprised, but
Me too.
for now, for now, that's what we're running with. So Smile, Mr. Harrigan's phone, and House of Dragons episode 8. We might surprise you, we might not. We don't know.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, we'll
it
see.
is what it is. But
Keep you
you
on
know,
your toes.
that's right. You know what to do. If you're listening on Spotify, I know there's lots of people listening on Spotify, so we do appreciate you. Make sure you hit that follow button and that bell so you
Heck
don't
yeah.
miss a beat. We release episodes every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Australian Daylight Saving Central Standard Time.
Hey,
Hey,
Jesus, that's
it's
yep, something like that.
yep. But at the same time the podcast comes out, so that all those people listening on YouTube, we do appreciate you. Make sure you hit that thumb button. Because
give us a thumb.
Yeah, that definitely helps us with the algorithm, and even hit that share, send it to people, because you know what to do.
Especially, who should they send it to? Especially,
they should tell their friends.
They should tell all their friends
and acquaintances, and even people you don't like. Any engagement's good engagement. Just tell everybody. I don't care. Just
tell everyone.
Tell your dog. Tell your cat. If you're sitting on a bus, yell out movie talks. Listen to it.
Just scream it. Everyone's going to look at you like an insane person until you show them. They're like, "Wow, you changed my life. Thank you, random stranger."
That's right. Same as the people at the baseball games with the smile publicity.
Smile. Yeah. Maybe look that up.
Maybe we'll get a publicity stunt. I don't know what we'll do with movie talks. Maybe we'll just get people walking around going, "Hey, heard movie talks."
Screaming movie talks. We need a shirt that says "Tell your friends."
That's right. We do need. I reckon that'd be good. We should get them for Rhyme and TV as well. But do you know what? Do you know what they should do when they come into Twitch stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:45 Australian Daylight Savings Central
time.
Standard.
Central Daylight Savings Time, something like that. Yep. What should they do?
Yep. They should come in and say, "Hey, I told my friends."
That's the code this time, is it?
That's right.
I told my friends. Yep. Hell yeah.
At this point, we've had none come in the chat. So be the first one, and you might get a VIP.
Happens all the time. Don't tell them. It does.
No, it hasn't. I don't lie. We're transparent on this. So
yeah, it's true.
That's what we are.
I love it.
Yeah. So you know what to do. Make sure you tell your friends, and we shall see you next week.
Love yous. Bye-bye.
Bye.